I still really am. But I was the president of a label called Integrity Music, and we had a built-in distribution system, which kind of worked. You sign an artist, you produce a record, you get him radio airplay, you put him on a tour, and that translates into X number of sales. Well, that model is gone. It's not in the U.S. anymore. So new artists can get a little discouraged because they don't have the same system. But on the other hand, the sky is the limit. We have YouTube, we have Spotify, we have iTunes, all the social media, and nowadays you can create some great art in a room of your house and get it out to the world. It's amazing what you can do. It doesn't change the fact that one of the things that makes an artist is an ability to communicate. So I would say to a young artist, don't be discouraged. Keep writing. Take any opportunity that God gives you to share your gifts. And make sure that when God gives you a larger platform that you actually have something to say. And that only comes by just doing it over and over again. These days, many artists can create great art in a vacuum, and when God gives you a platform, you have nothing to say because you haven't been out there just perfecting your craft. In the early days of mainstream music, like 50, 60 years ago, there wasn't any such thing as a long play or a CD, a full CD. It was one song. They give you a single, and then they would put you on a bus with 20 other artists. And if you survived that tour, they would do another single with you. But, you know, and many artists would just kind of fall out. Just lifestyle, different things would happen. But those that survived had long careers. So there is something about just getting out there and doing it, being faithful to sing night after night after night after night. And that's one of the secrets. One thing I've learned over the years is just to be myself. And with the access to internet and the access to YouTube, you can look at other artists and say, I want to be just like him or just like her. And what you end up doing is just being replicating or duplicating what you've seen. And as a music executive, I would always look at an artist and say, what's unique about them? What is unique? And if you're just trying to be another Adele, then, you know, it's already been done. So I'd say be yourself to any artist. Just figure out what it is that you do and do that well. You can learn from others, but ultimately you have to stand in your own skin and your own anointing. Do that. And then just... don't be discouraged. There's always going to be room for a great artist, a great song. Keep doing it. Be yourself. And then set a pace for the race. It's not about one CD or one song. How many artists have you known they're a one-hit wonder? What happened to them? I don't know. Maybe they had success and then it just went away. So it's a lot more than just one CD. It really is a long race. Keep your life together. Make wise choices. Somebody said they looked at the internet to try to find out about Don Moen. Boy, I see some things about Don Moen that. I go, what? I found out about 2 years ago that I died in Los Angeles. I saw that. I don't know if any of you saw that, but I had thousands of people calling me, and apparently I had a stomach problem in Los Angeles, and sad Don is not with us any longer. But at least people said nice things about me after I died, supposedly. I was in Kenya last year, I guess, a year and a half, and the journalist with the paper was interviewing me, and said, "How are you doing after your divorce?" I said, "I'm not divorced. I'm happily married to the same wife. I have one wife. We've been married 45 years. And so that has to do with choices as well. And that gives you, I think, an ability to have longevity. Somebody asked a question about how do I stay relevant? It was you? How do I stay relevant? I think partnering with people like LaVixen and Frank Edwards and I don't know. You know, I have to just be Don Moen, but as a music producer and an executive, I'm always looking for what moves me, what's significant musically. I really do get tired of imitations, and you just need to be real careful. Artists need to be careful, learn from others, but just, you know, what is the one thing that makes you unique and different? So I'm always looking for musical styles. I have a certain following. I have to be careful not to go too far off to the left or the right, because I do have an audience that would say, "What are you trying to do?" So I can't be as cool as LaVixen, but he can't be as cool as Don Moen either. So I think that the key is we're ourselves, be ourselves. So if we can find something that works for the both of us, and I try to do that all over the world, just try to remain relevant. And then what is true worship? True worship is more than the songs that we are singing. It's interesting that all through the Gospels, Jesus didn't talk about musical styles, and we have a whole industry based on gospel music. And it's like, don't you think he would have addressed that subject if it was that important? He did talk a lot about worship, and what did he say? You know, the true worshipers worship the Father in spirit and in truth. And what does that mean? I think it means it's more than the songs we're singing. A true worshiper is reaching out to those in need, providing a means of hope, bringing God's presence to people who have lost hope. That's part of what we want to do with this, with the Kampala Praise Fest. Bring hope to people. There are a lot of people in Uganda who have lost hope, and I believe that when we come into God's presence, there is a flicker of hope that will come. It's hard to have faith when you've lost hope. So that's what we're trying to do, bring hope to people. So true worship is just it's a lifestyle, and our music is a part of it. But true worship is much more than the songs we sing. And I think we approach it that way, our songs will have much more meaning as well. I'm sorry for talking too long. You want me to answer all these things? Collaboration with LaVixen, well, hey, we'll talk about that. The thing I did a collaboration with a friend of mine, Frank Edwards, in Nigeria. And Frank and I were together at several festivals. And as I got to know Frank, I got to know his heart and his spirit. He has, I'm more of a ballad singer, and Frank has some nice ballads. I don't know LaVixen's music completely, but you know, if we find something that works for Don Moen and for him, I'm always up for collaborations. There's another gal, Sanash, in Nigeria, who was a good friend, and we've done several things together, and we're talking about doing something. But again, as a producer, I want to say, is this believable? Does it work for both artists? And if it does, I'm in. I'm all up for it. So I think I answered all the questions so far.
Thank you, Don. Talking